So, but for you specifically, well, how would you define yourself?
I think it's a lot about who you are.
And so, what does being yourself look like for you? Today, I got to speak to a very special young person. Molikaa Rasiah presents as extroverted, joyful, and happy on the outside. But her book, Not What I Expected, talks about sadness, loneliness, and the social pressures of being 10 years old. This is Lived Words with you and Rasiah. All right, so this is special because I have my sister today, Molikaa. Hi, Molikaa.
Huh.
I want to talk to you. So, you're 10 years old. You've written and published a book, which I have here, called Not What I Expected. It's a true story, right? Tell me, so how did you get to writing a book?
I think it was a lot on. I used to not like reading at all. I thought I'd never found a book that I really enjoyed reading, and I never really got inspired to read more by any book or anything. And so I was like, well, there's probably other kids out there who have the same problem,
For sure.
and they can't find any books that they like either. And maybe they don't like books to read. So like I was thinking, maybe if I write a story that someone could relate to a lot, then maybe they'll want to read it more to know that they're not the only person feeling that way.
Do you think that you wrote this book like as a book that you would want to read?
Yeah, I think so. It's different because I wrote it, so it's
Of
not like I
course.
would read it again. I mean, I would, but
Fair.
yeah.
What made you feel like, even beyond obviously yes, you want to write a book, for people that people maybe don't want to read, don't like to read as much, would want to read, right? Can relate to. But what made you feel like these specific stories? Because this is a book, it's a real story, right? This is a true story about you. What made you feel like this book was like the stories in this book were important, that you really wanted to share those?
I think because I think a lot of kids my age, especially like at school or a place where there's a lot of people older or younger than them, then they feel like they don't have anybody to really talk to at that moment. And
For sure.
yeah, like that kind of.
And you felt like these stories were, stories of you figuring out kind of a similar
Yeah, like how
challenges.
to, yeah.
How did you? So talk to me. Like, obviously it's in the book. How did you find ways to, when you didn't have anyone to talk to, right? What did you do?
Usually I thought of like ways to focus on myself for the time that I'm feeling that way. And if I am having a hard time doing that, which is sometimes a lot of times, wait, that doesn't make sense. Wait. And it's, yeah, I think I most of the time try to focus on myself as much as I can. And if it's really bothering me, then I'll try to like take a minute to myself and think about it, see if I can do anything to fix it. And if I can't, sometimes you just gotta deal with it.
Very fair. I know when I was, because you're going to sixth grade. I remember my sixth grade was a little hard. I had trouble in sixth grade, especially making friends. That was a hard thing for me. And I'm just curious. So, obviously, you going to sixth grade, you've written a book about people, right? Meeting people, connections, right? I think it's really interesting that you have this kind of awareness to be able to write a book, because I don't think I did when I was your age. If you were to talk to me at 10 years old and I was struggling to make friends, what advice would you give me?
I would give you the advice just to be yourself, because I think a lot of people, it's more important to be yourself and have friends because you're being yourself more than because how you're doing what they want you to do. And I think that's mostly the main thing.
And so what does being yourself look like for you?
Being comfortable in where you are and like not thinking like it's really hard, honestly, to explain.
Absolutely. Sure. Yeah.
But I think it's more on being comfortable than knowing that other people are comfortable with you. Because I don't know how to explain it mostly, but
No, I think that's a good explanation. I feel like we often really fixate on how other people think about
yeah,
us,
exactly.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's a really interesting point to trying to fix it on how you're thinking about yourself. Is that fair?
Yeah.
So how do you feel like you're able to, because obviously that's theoretically, right? And you think about, okay, the idea, like that sounds great, but that's hard to do. So how are you able to do that? What kind of strategies do you use?
I think, like in general, or in like school, or like at home.
Sure, whenever. Absolutely. I mean, we can start with school.
Okay.
That's easier.
At
Yeah.
school, like, I think I try to like. Wait, I don't know.
It's okay. Take your time.
Wait, can we pause?
Go ahead. What are you thinking?
I think it's most like how you think of yourself if you were to tell somebody, like let's say you were to tell your parent or your friend or your sibling, let's say, if you have any, you could say, like, if they asked you, who do you think you are, what would you do if this happened, then you could tell them honestly, and that's what you would do. So I can't really say exactly.
That's
because
fair.
everybody else is different.
True. So, but for you specifically, well, how would you define yourself? What do you like when someone asks you, okay, describe Molikaa? What would you say?
I would say I am very happy, I think, most of the time. And I think everybody has hard times. Everybody does. And it's not like some people have harder times than others, because everybody has everybody has their different like levels of hardness. And I think it's like, honestly, for me, it's like amazing, because you never know what's going on with someone else, and it's not like you can ask them. So you have to like imagine, and I feel like that's really cool.
Yeah, I agree. I agree absolutely. Do you ever feel like, I think we all kind of face social pressures, right? In the sense that like, oh, okay, you're expected to do something or be a certain way, or all my friends are doing this. Do you ever feel like that, where you are in a situation where it's like maybe everybody around you is doing something or acting a certain way, and it's maybe hard to really be yourself and be unique and individual in an environment where a lot of people are kind of doing the same thing?
Yeah, I think it's really hard sometimes when you're like the only one in the whole place where you have to like figure it out. You have to be what other people want you to be, but you can't do that, because then you're gonna make yourself think that you yourself aren't amazing. And I think everybody's amazing in their different ways.
That's awesome. Can you think of, do you have like an example? I know I'm putting you on the spot. Can you think of an example just off the top of your head where you felt like you really had to kind of work hard to be yourself despite, what other people were saying or doing around you?
I can't think of an exact time, but I can think it's mostly at school, honestly. It's like everybody is like, you have to do this, you have to do that, otherwise it's going to look weird, or you are weird.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people feel like they have to follow that, so they do follow it. But I think it's great to just do what you want to do, because it's better to do what you want to do more than what other people want you to do.
Yeah. Do you ever feel like it's do you think it's important really to be okay with being weird? Kind of to be comfortable
Yeah.
in being weird?
Yeah, because if you're not comfortable with yourself, then no one's going to be comfortable with you.
Hmm.
So if you're not, what's the word? Like, if you,
Weird? Comfortable?
no, if you're not confident,
Hmm.
then other people can't be confident because you're just. I think if you're confident, it makes other people confident, which makes other people confident, which makes you more confident. So if people around you are confident, I think it's really helpful when you're trying to be yourself.
Got it. Got it. It's like a positive feedback loop, right?
Yeah.
Where someone is so like if I'm confident, then you're confident. We kind of bounce off each other. Do you think that works in reverse too, where it's like if I'm not confident, it makes you less confident?
Yeah, definitely. Like if you were to go to someone, like if I were at a party and I didn't know anybody there, and somebody came up to me and they were still not very like happy, or they were still happy but they couldn't embrace it, then I feel like it's much harder to be what you want to do in that moment. Like if you wanted to be that person's friend and they were just like shy, let's say, and they didn't talk to you or they didn't talk back or whatever, it's a lot harder because you feel like, oh, am I doing something wrong? I'm not trying to do something wrong. It's just what I'm like.
Yeah. Do you feel like that's something that you see a lot with people your age where they have trouble with being confident and kind of being sure in themselves?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's mostly because the people don't like when other people are themselves.
Hmm.
And they just want people to be what they want them to be.
Can you say a little bit more about that? People don't like it when other people are themselves. I think that's a really interesting point. What makes you think that? And I guess where did you kind of come up with that idea? So I think I mean I agree.
Yeah, I feel like if you were to walk into a room and then someone, let's say like the more popular kids at school were like doing something and you were to do it too, they would like you more. But if you weren't to do what they were doing, and maybe they were doing something wrong and you told them not to do it, they wouldn't like you at all. And that's not a good thing because you're not trying to do anything wrong.
Yeah.
You're trying to help.
Of course.
And they're getting mad at you for helping.
Yeah.
So it's a really hard thing, confusing thing for me, honestly.
You think that happens to you a lot where you try to be yourself and people are judging you because of it?
I wouldn't say it happens a lot, but I'd say it happens pretty, like, normally at school.
Yeah. And do you think that, because obviously you're kind of in a unique situation where you're younger, obviously, but you have 2 older siblings, obviously 2 parents. You've met a lot of older people, right?
Mm-hmm.
You've interacted with a lot of people who are older. Do you feel like that is something that is the case for people kind of across all ages, or do you see it really more in your age and people kind of grow out of it? What do you think about that?
I think it's for everybody, honestly. Maybe not the school part of it, but feeling comfortable with yourself, with the people around you. I think that's with everybody, any age.
Yeah, absolutely. When do you think you first kind of started thinking about, because these are like profound thoughts, being yourself and being comfortable, I think, in a group and like with other people, that's a hard thing to do, right?
Yeah.
When do you think you were really kind of started being aware of that and thinking about it as like, I really want to be myself, even when, maybe pressures in society is saying like, oh, I should be like everybody else?
When did I feel like I wanted to be myself?
When is the first time you kind of thought about it as like an idea?
I think it was a little bit later in my life, like maybe in, I don't know, I mean, not late for you, but
Relative.
Yeah, like 3rd or 4th grade. I think I was like starting to feel like I'm not gonna do what other people want me to do. I'm gonna do what I want to do, and if somebody doesn't like me for that, that's not my fault.
Yeah. Do you think that your life has been, at least socially, has been more difficult because you're actively trying to be yourself, even when, like, you think it would have been, easier, kind of quote unquote easier, if you had just kind of blended in?
I think it goes both ways because I don't think I'd feel like I was doing the right thing if I was
Right.
trying to be what other people wanted me to be and not myself. But I think it would have been easier to make friends. It just wouldn't have been the right friends. So
Say more. What do you think about as the right, like, when you say the right friends, what is that in your mind? What does that mean?
like the friends that like me for who I am, not for who they want me to be. If I
Yeah.
said that already, then
Yeah. No, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. So I think there's this idea that, right, of being comfortable with yourself, being yourself, right, that we're talking about. Um, and I'm kind of just curious, like, how do you know when you're being yourself? Like, do we have kind of an internal compass that, like, you feel good when you're being yourself? Like, do people tell you that you're being yourself? How do you really gauge, like, in any moment, like, am I being myself or am I just, like, copying other people?
I think it's like a level of comfort, a level of um. Oh, I keep forgetting confidence,
Mm.
and um. I think if you're doing if it feels right to you, then it's right.
Right.
If it feels like you're not doing what you want to do and you feel a little uncomfortable doing it, it's not. I don't want to say it's not yourself because yourself can be so many things,
Yeah.
but it's not. Obviously, it's not what you want to do if you don't feel comfortable.
Yeah, for sure. Do you feel like because I almost feel like sometimes we try to blend in to the point that we tell ourselves that we're okay, right? That we're like, oh, I'm not uncomfortable. Like, this is great. This is who I am, even if it's maybe not really. But you try to tell yourself that to feel better. Have you ever kind of experienced that? And what do you do when you feel like you're like kind of in a little bit of a doubt where you're like, okay, am I really being myself? I don't really know because
Yeah,
I thought I felt okay with it, but now I don't know if I feel okay with it. Does that ever
yeah.
happen to you?
I think that happens with everybody, even if you are yourself in that moment. I think yourself has so many different meanings. Like
Yeah.
you can be yourself and be happy. You can be yourself and be a little sad. You can be yourself and be angry. It's really hard to know, honestly. So I don't have an exact answer for that. But,
Sure.
but
Sure,
yeah.
absolutely. Absolutely. So, um, you talked about happiness, right? And I asked you to describe yourself and what you feel like is being yourself. And you said you're a happy person. I think that's really interesting because I think often when we describe ourselves with like labels or titles, right? Like, I am this thing. I am an executive. I am a lawyer. I'm a doctor, right?
Yeah.
That's how we describe ourselves with these labels. I'm a high schooler. I'm an elementary schooler, right? Or middle schooler, sixth grade. Sixth grade is middle school technically. Um, how do you feel like you're able to describe yourself for who you are versus kind of the labels that you carry because of society, because of where you are in your life, and all those sort of things?
Can I have an example?
Yeah. So, like, when I asked you like, tell me about yourself, right? Tell me about who you are. You describe yourself as someone who's happy. And I think that's a unique way to describe yourself because I think we kind of all are like, when we describe ourselves, I don't think people really describe themselves as happy. They tend to describe themselves as like, oh, I am a certain way, or I'm a certain this thing. I'm kind of an introvert, or I'm an extrovert, or I'm, these like kind of labels. But you almost use an emotion to describe yourself of happiness, right? And that doesn't. I don't think what you're. I mean, tell me, are you saying that you're never sad? You're just always happy all the
No.
time? No.
I'm just saying that. Well, the answer's no.
Yeah.
Everybody's sad sometimes. Sometimes it's most of the time.
Yeah.
And I think it's difficult, honestly, being a human in the first place.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and you know this, I've had my fair share of struggles with being sad for extended periods of time, and that's been hard. And I'm just really curious as to like, how do you, despite having those periods of sadness, right? Stress, anxiety, sadness, social pressure, all the things that are going on in your life, you have found a way to consider yourself happy, right? You believe yourself to be happy. I think that's a unique thing. Um, when did you feel like that is kind of what you wanted to be and what you are?
I think it was on from a long time.
Mm.
First, I was like, why can't I get friends? Like, why do they always like one day they're nice to me, one day they're not? And then it's to be like, why is everybody not nice to me?
Yeah.
And then why are people so like annoyed when I'm myself?
Yeah.
Is it right to be myself? Should I do this? Should I do that? And then it's just like everybody has a different timeline.
Yeah.
I think it's hard for people when they're younger, maybe when they're older. It's like very hard to say. So
Sure. Sure. For you, right, in terms of when you felt like, is it right to be myself? I think that's a really important question because I think we often think about being yourself like, oh, we should always be ourselves, right? But when you're a kid, and, you know, as you are growing up in society where people are telling you not to be yourself, to be like them, right? How did you find a way to answer that question and be like, yeah, I actually do want to be myself? Kind of what gave you that motivation, that idea that like, okay, it actually is okay to really be myself?
I would say I don't really know
Mm.
because yeah, I don't really know at all. Honestly, I feel like I never really will know because
Sure.
it's just how you live.
Sure.
You have to learn how to be yourself at some point,
Yeah.
and yeah, I don't really.
Fair. Okay. Okay. Um, when you think about being yourself and being happy, right? Um, there are times that are stressful. There are times that are difficult, right? Are there like specific things or like skills that you feel like have been important to you in order that like have helped you stay happy, stay kind of energetic, keep a smile on your face? Like, what have you kind of done, um, or maybe your people around you have done to help you facilitate that kind of happiness?
I think it's a lot on who I'm with at the moment.
Right.
If I was with friends or teachers, it's a different feeling than if I'm with family or parents or siblings or aunts or cousins or grandparents, honestly, actually.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's very different. It really matters who you're with and how they think of you
Yeah.
and how you think of them and if you're comfortable with them or not.
Yeah. Who do you feel the most comfortable with in
My
your life?
family.
Why?
Because I feel like they won't judge me off of doing what I want to do. And if I am being judged, it's, well, for my family in this,
Yeah, yeah. Obviously, from your experience.
yeah, I think it's mostly because they trying to help me. And like if I was with friends, some friends are more competitive. They'll try
Yeah,
to,
for sure.
like family will try to help me. Friends sometimes will try to beat me.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's a great friend, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Fair. How have you, obviously you've had friends, throughout your life. Some of them may be better than others. Some of them who really want to support you, some of them want to be you. How have you found a way to kind of distinguish between the people who are really kind of on your team, right? And who are really in support of you, um, and kind of real friends where you feel like you can be comfortable? How do you like distinguish between those people and people who maybe are not as great for you? I struggle with that's something that I struggle with. I think everyone kind of struggles with that, where it's like we want to be with certain people, like certain people are nice to us, but maybe they're not really good for us.
Yeah. I think it's a matter of time, because maybe one day you'll find somebody at school, you'll think, oh, this is my best friend for life.
Yeah.
And then maybe sometimes even days, but usually it's like weeks or maybe months later. It's like they don't even know you, and that
Yeah.
never even happened.
Yeah.
So it's really crazy how it just like goes away in like a second. But yeah, that's all I have for that question.
Yeah. Okay, fair. And so when you think about trying to make yourself happier, right? When you are feeling sad, what do you do? Like, let's say you had a bad day at school, you came home, you're sad. How do you kind of restore your happiness, your energy?
I'm not sure if I said this already for another
Okay.
question, but I try to focus on what I need to do, like at home. If I came back from school, maybe I try to hang out with my family or my dogs or my grandmother or anybody or anyone, I guess.
Yeah.
If at school, I'll try to focus on work, like math work or something that I have to do, and just try to distract my brain from that, which I don't know if is a great thing, but it's what I'll do. And I'm trying to like think about it while I'm doing it, just to think, what could I have done better? What did I do anything wrong in the first place? Is it
Yeah.
me or is it them that's like getting mad at me? And
Right.
if it's me, it's not amazing.
Yeah. I think there's a sense of kind of reflection there,
Yeah.
right? Where you're thinking about the situation, thinking about what's happening, thinking about how you feel and maybe why you feel that way, right? That's a hard thing to do, because I think sometimes when we're not happy or something makes us unhappy, like maybe you had an argument with someone or you had a bad day at school, we don't want to think about it, right? It's like, I don't want to think about that. That was not good, right? But I do feel like sometimes when we don't think about things that make us unhappy, they kind of stick, right? They kind of stay there. So then we stay kind of unhappy. And then maybe we don't even know why, because it's like, I got over that, but you didn't really get over it because you never really thought about it. You kind of just left it alone. And now it's like sticking with you. That's a hard thing to do, to be able to say like, okay, this was something that didn't go well. I need to like think about it and figure it out. How have you been able to do that in your life, where you are in a situation where it's like, man, this thing was hard for me, but I need to think about it, reflect on it, right, to really figure it out?
I never really think about it that way.
Yeah. Okay. How do you think about
I
it?
don't know I don't know how I thought about it. It's just I've never really thought about that. But I think it's a lot about who you are and like if you like yourself. If you don't like yourself, if you don't like how you feel at that moment, then I think I don't know if that's the right way to say it, because I don't want people to think that they don't like themselves, because that's really not good. But there's always time to like try something new. So if you're
Right.
not liking, if I had trouble on like a test or something and I didn't
Yeah.
like how it turned out,
Yeah.
or I did really bad on it, then I'm not gonna go and say I'm so bad at this I can't even do it. I might do that actually, but I would try to fix it afterwards. I'll
Yeah.
try to tell myself that it doesn't matter how I did it, it's matter how I fix it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Interesting. So it's almost like it's kind of like a growth mindset, right?
Yeah.
Right, where it's like, okay, something happens. Like, how can I fix it? How can I be better from that?
Mhm.
Right. Is that something that you feel like you've always kind of thought about things like that? Is that something that you feel like was taught to you by someone? How did you kind of get to that point where you like try to think about your problems that way?
I think it was a self-taught lesson.
Yeah.
Maybe I think a lot of people helped me learn it, but most of the things I've just learned and
Yeah.
did.
Very fair.
Yeah.
Can you think of like, are there examples in your life where you feel like you've seen people maybe even inspire you to think in certain ways or look at situations in a certain way? Whether that's your family or your friends or anything.
Yeah, I think it's my family, I think it's mostly actually the people that are not nice to me at school.
Oh, interesting.
Because it's just that feeling, like after they're mean to you, it's just like you want to like just explode. Like sometimes like
Yeah.
they'll be mean to you and you just want to like.
He's angry.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you can't really do anything about it because
Right.
it's not like you can just go up to them and punch them in the face.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
Of course.
And so it's mostly about how you can fix yourself and make yourself know that everybody's gonna. Even when you're 99 years old,
Yeah.
there's always gonna be someone who's not nice to you.
Yeah. How do you feel like, so when you are in that kind of anger, right? That sense of like, oh, I'm gonna explode, right? That's a real feeling.
Yeah.
Right? It sounds kind of funny, but like that's a real feeling that we all kind of feel. What do you do? You know what I mean? Like, let's say you're really, really angry. Obviously, you can't go punch somebody in the face, right? You can't go like break a chair, right? So how do you kind of release that anger and move on and be happy, as you said, because that's something that's important to you, is being happy.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know how. Honestly, I don't even know how I get there.
Yeah.
It's so like confusing. Like how would somebody do that?
Yeah. Absolutely.
So I don't know.
And it definitely is confusing to deal with emotions.
Mm-hmm.
Can you think of an example maybe where you felt upset? Obviously, you don't have to give us specifics and names and anything like that, but where you felt so angry that you really want to like just go like break something or do something, and then maybe how you feel like you kind of moved on from that and were able to find kind of peace maybe and happiness in your rest of your day or the rest of whatever your time, depending on the situation.
It's kind of hard to think of at the moment. But
Sure, fair. Doesn't have to be super specific.
yeah, it's like when you ask somebody if you can join a game or something, and they say, "Oh, but I can't. It's only a 4-person game, and there's already 4 people here." And then you leave, and then somebody else comes, and they say yes. It's like so annoying.
Yeah.
Because you know nobody left.
That's not nice.
At that point, you're like, "What? Why did they do that?"
Yeah.
And you know why they did that. It's mostly just annoying.
Yeah.
It's like,
Why did they do that? And usually in your mind.
I think in school it's probably because they don't like me.
Right.
or maybe they don't even know who I am, or they were saving a spot for somebody.
Yeah.
But they still could have just said that they were saving a spot for somebody.
Right.
And
Instead of lying.
yeah.
Yeah. For sure.
So I get sometimes if you don't like the person that's coming up, or if they're mean to you, you can say that. I get like the feeling that you want to say that. I probably still wouldn't say it though. I'd probably be like, I don't know what I would say actually.
That's fair.
Really.
That's okay. That's okay. I feel like you're a pretty likable person. Right? You have energy, you're happy, you're generally nice. How do you feel like you when you think about people being unhappy with you, not liking you, like does that ever make you think like, okay, what did I do wrong? Like why don't people like me? It's okay.
I think it's because going back to the same thing again,
Sure, that's okay.
they don't like you for who you are.
Right.
But they like you for who they want you to be.
Right. But why don't they like who you are?
I don't know.
Hmm.
I've never really been someone who doesn't like someone for who they are, so
Sure.
I don't know. But
Sure.
my guess is that they don't like people who are different or not. Who maybe it's because they don't like being the odd one out themselves.
Right.
So they don't want other people. So they want to be similar to everybody. So if one person's different, I'm not really making sense. I'm sorry.
That's okay. No, that's okay. I mean, you're making good points. I think it's really interesting to think about how we kind of are resistant to change sometimes, right? We don't like to change. We don't like things that are different from us or different from what we usually expect or what we like to think about. And so when we're in different situations or with people who are different, often there's like kind of an aversion, right? Where it's like, oh, I don't like that thing or I don't like that person because it's different. And I think we all kind of do that sometimes. How have you felt like in your life, because you've encountered many people, right? And people who are different from you and similar to you. How do you feel like you have been able to look at someone who's different from you and say that's okay for them to be different and we can still be friends, we can still have positive interaction. We don't have to like not like each other because we're different.
That's a hard question.
It is a hard question, absolutely.
Um,
Can you maybe if you have an example or something where you think about like you've met someone that was maybe very different than you, the way that they acted, the way that they were, and you still made an effort to kind of be their friend. What kind of made you feel like that? You were able to do that. How were you able to do that?
I think there's a lot of people that are different than me at school. Like,
Yeah.
I would say I'm more of an extroverted person. So if there's anybody who's an introvert, people would say, no, you don't have to be friends with them. They're not going to match your energy. Or you're not going to be friends with them really well because they're not like you.
Yeah.
I don't think that's true.
Yeah.
I think it's... You have to make them feel like that statement's wrong.
Right.
You can be friends with whoever they want and whoever you want.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter who they like or if you like them or not. Oh, wait, hold on. That does matter. Wait.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So that's all I have. Sorry.
It's okay. So you have 2 older siblings, right? You've had them a whole life. It's me, obviously. I'm 7 years older than you, and our sister, who is 5 years older than you. How have you felt like your relationship with your siblings has affected the way that you think about the world, think about your life, think about yourself?
I think it's helped me see the different types of people in the world.
Hmm.
Like, there's people who don't like being around people. There's people who like being around people. It's very different because you have more stories to be told.
Yeah.
And it's like an extra experience. Or
Yeah.
in this case too.
Yeah.
So I think it's easier and sometimes harder, but I think it's very helpful.
Do you feel like your siblings are very different?
Yes.
I think so too. So you have kind of an interesting situation where 2 years ago, well, really 3 years ago, 4 years ago almost, I went off to boarding school, right? And then the year after that, I went off to boarding school again, to different school, even farther away, right? And then the year after that, our sister, went off to boarding school as well.
Yeah.
Right, Lavanya is at boarding school. She's there now, and I've graduated, as you know. How do you feel like that changed the way that you kind of perceive things? Because we were around your whole life, right? You've never not had two older siblings, and then kind of suddenly we're both not at home most of the year, at least during the school year.
Yeah.
How do you think that affected you?
I think in the beginning I felt super lonely
Yeah.
because I'd always had you and Akka, like my sister, running around doing something, at least in the house. And then it's just like, wow, where are they? Why are they not here?
Yeah.
So it's very different, and I think I got used to it pretty quick.
Right.
Like, maybe not quick, but in like a year or two.
Sure.
But then at that point, my sister Akka also left.
Yeah.
So it's like keep changing. And
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it changed. I don't think it changed my life.
Mm.
I think it changed just how I felt at home and
Sure.
sometimes at school because I was used to you guys being at school.
Sure. Yeah, we all were at the same school for
Yeah.
a long time.
But yeah, so I think.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So this year, as you know, I'm going to be in California. From September, I'll be back a little bit in November, a little bit in December, and then until March.
Yeah.
Right? That's the farthest I've ever been for an extended time. More than like 2 weeks, really, from home, from you. I won't be able to come home and see you very often. When you think about that, how does that make you feel, I guess?
I like to think about it. It's just like you're going back to school.
Yeah.
Because it's very similar.
Yeah.
You just won't be home as much.
Yeah. I'm going to miss your birthday and my birthday.
Yeah. So it's different. It's very different. But it's not like you're going away and not coming back for a whole year.
Yeah.
You're going, coming back, coming back.
Yeah. Is that something that you think about, or is it you think it's very similar to when
I
we were
think
traveling to school?
it's pretty similar to.
I don't know. I mean,
my
I don't know.
school.
I don't have your experience. For me, it's different, but obviously I'm the one doing it. So
I think it's pretty similar, but
Yeah.
it's definitely different.
yeah, nice. That's fair. That's very fair.
Yeah.
It's a difference, and it's a unique situation, I think. So it'll be interesting for us and for the whole family, really. But yeah, I think it's gonna be great. You're gonna do great. You're gonna be fine, and it's gonna be a lot of fun. It'll be you and Lavanya every time that she comes home. It'll be you guys in the house.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be kind of cool. You get to hang out with her a lot when she's home. All right. So to end these, we kind of have a repeating question, right? I always end every conversation with a question. What are some words that you choose to live by, and why?
I think family and hope are probably my two main things.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think it's family.
Yeah. Okay.
Because family is like, it's
You can have more
always,
than one. if you
yeah,
want.
I know, but
Okay.
it's like always, family is not just like a thing that's there and then gone. It's a thing that's there forever.
Right.
Even if they're off in California. You
Right.
know that they're there. You know
Of
that
course.
you can call them. You know that you can just know that they're there and they'll help you whenever you need it.
Of course. Absolutely.
And even if you're mad at them, like, just know when family fights,
Yeah.
it's not like, I like to think that they'll not be mad at you the whole entire life.
Of course.
And it's very helpful to know that, because it's very different than friends, teachers, anything else.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. This is great.
Mm-hmm.
All right.